Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to demonstrate how to use the I/O pins to create a light show by flashing a series of 8 LEDs in different patterns. Different timing, number of times we're going to sequence through each of the patterns will all be demonstrated using function calls with parameters. Set the pattern of the blinking. I've created eight functions to do this. One here is a blank. That will turn off all the LEDs. All on function will turn all the LEDs on. The scroll left will scroll one LED to the left. Scroll right will scroll one LED to the right. Shift all left will shift the entire 8 LEDs to the left. Shift all right will shift them all to the right. And the odd even will be flashing them back and forth between the odd and the even LEDs. And split all will be from the middle. We'll be splitting it, and half of it will go to the right and half of it will go to the left. Now let's take a look at how we're accomplishing this. Now that we have our functions in place over here, here's how we're going to call these up. We're going to start off with a blank. We're going to turn off all the LEDs, make sure all the LEDs are off. I'm going to hold them off for 500 milliseconds. Then we're going to turn them all on for 500 milliseconds. Now when we go to scroll left, the way I have this set up here is the first parameter is setting the timer, setting how long we're going to keep the state for high and for low or in between transitions. And the second parameter is how many times do we want to repeat this pattern. We're going to repeat this 2 times, 3 times, 1 time, 100 times. That's where we'll set how many times we want to repeat this. And the next function will be, we'll do the scroll right. Same thing. The timer setting, the number of times we want to repeat it, and so forth. Shift all. We're doing this all. We're doing the same thing for all of these patterns here. The only difference is the blank and all, we don't need to repeat that. We're just going to call that every time we want to use it. So here's how these all work. The blank is going to set all of them low by sequencing through the array of pins. The array of pins are going to be index 0 through 7, and that's each of these are holding the pin number that we're going to use as outputs. Here we're going to rotate through, we're calling output pins, and we're going to set the pin, our index as pin. So we'll go through this 8 times, 0 through 7, and then when it hits 8, it exits out of this loop. And we're setting them all to low. And after this is done, we're going to have a delay by the start time that we are passing on through our function call. The same thing with the all. The only difference is, the all on. The same thing with the all on. The only difference is we're going to set them all high, and then we're going to delay it for same state. We're going to pass that state. Now state time value. We're going to pass that state time value into this, to keep the lights, all the LEDs on at the same time. Scroll left. This one here, for the purpose of demonstrating each of these calls, I'm using the serial print. With the serial print, we're going to print the pattern that we're currently demonstrating, and then it's going to actually rotate through a nested for loop. The first loop is going to be the number of times we want to repeat that. We're passing that variable in here as repeat. That when we call the function, this repeat will receive the value that we put in the call. And so this whole pattern will repeat that many times. This for loop is going to actually rotate through the pins and change the state to high. We're going to delay it for a period of time that we the value that we passed into our function. We'll put the delay time for that state. Then what we're doing is we're calling the blank for that period of time. This way we're clearing out the LEDs. It rotates again to the next one, turns it high. It saves us some code for alternating between high and low. The scroll right, same thing. We're doing exactly the same thing as the scroll left. It's a nested loop. We have the repeat that we pull in here. We have the start, the state time is being passed in here. And we're going to loop this through only in reverse order. We're setting the pin to start at 7 and end at 0. And we're decrementing. That way it will scroll to the right. Shift all left. We're passing the state time and the repeat just like the other functions. And we're going to do a triple nested loop here. The first one is the repeat the pattern as we pass this repeat variable into here. The next loop inside, so the repeat time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little tricky here. We're going to declare a variable LED state and assign it high. That's how we're going to start our loop here. So when it gets into the loop, it's going to do it 2 times here, 1 for high, 1 for low. So we have it 2 times. We're going to be running through 2 times here. The third for loop in the nested loop will be for turning it on, sequencing through each of the LEDs, all 8 of them. And we're going to, as before, we're going to call up the pin out of the array, the pin number out of the array, and we're going to set the LED state according to the LED state variable. Here it's high. When this finishes looping through, it's going to increment again and it's going to, when it sequences through all 8, it's going to set the LED state to low, then it's going to repeat this, and the LED state is going to be low. And then we'll go through each of the LEDs, each of the 8 LEDs, and then the whole function repeats again according to what parameter we pass through here. How many times we pass the how many times we set the repeat state. That's what we're going to, that's how many times we're going to repeat this. All right is the same as all left, only this time we're in reverse order through the pin loop. We're going from pins, we're going through 7 and 0. The reason why it's 7 to 0, that's 8 LEDs. The index of these pin, and the index of this array, it starts at 0 and ends with 7. So that's why we have this set to 7 and end at 0. So the odd, and for the odd even, we're going to do another set of repeats, and inside that loop we're going to run through each of the LEDs, turn them high, put a delay after they loop through all of them high, and then we're going to blank them, turn them all off. We're calling this blank function. We're only going to blank it for 10 seconds. This one here, 10 milliseconds. After this delay, we're going to call up the blank for 10 milliseconds to turn off all of the LEDs. Then we're going to go through another loop here where we're going to do the other half of the LEDs. So the first one we're going to go for the first one, we're going to go through 0 through 8 and stepping it by 2. So that will give us LEDs 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 will all turn on. We're going to do all of the even pins here. And we're going to start at 0, and then we're going to increment by 2, and it's going to go 2, it's going to go 0, 2, 4, and 6. And those would be the LEDs that turn on. Then we're going to repeat the same thing, only this time we're going to start at 1 and we're going to increment 2 times. And that will give us 1, 3, 5, 6, 1, 3, 5, and 7. Our split all, this one here, we're going to do 2 at the same time. We're going to start in the middle. We're going to light up. We're going to light up the middle 2. And the way we're going to do this so that they're at the same time, we're going to do a little math here. This is another reason why using an array works out really good. We can sequence through 4 LEDs. The first half is 4, the second half is 4. So we're going to go up 4 times. And as this thing loops through, this variable is going to subtract from where we set our middle LEDs. So this one here is going to be our far left in the middle, and this is going to be on the right side of the middle. So as this goes through 0 through 3, this will end up at 0, and this will end up at 7. Once we finish this loop, we're going to set the LED state to low, and then loop through again. And that's how we're going to get them to split in the middle and just rotate 4 to the left and 4 to the right. So here we go. Let's give this a try. And there you have it. Go ahead and try it yourself and have fun with it. Thanks for watching.